So, it is coming to the end of 2019. We're about to enter 2020, which is so unfathomable to me. Like, the concept that we're about to be living in the year 2020, which is such a futuristic year, is just baffling. Like, for so much of the time, I still feel like I'm in 2008 or 2012, and we're like entering another decade. In this decade, I'm going to probably get married and probably begin my career. Well, I will begin my career, and I'm going to graduate, and real adult things are going to start happening to me. So still reckoning with that, but that's not what this video is about. So today I'm going to be telling you about my top 10 favorite books for the year 2019. They're going to be in no particular order, but sorry, I've been watching a lot of British YouTubers, and I've picked up, the people who know me in real life know that I have this horrible penchant for doing accents, and they're always absolutely okay, my southern accent's pretty good, but all my other ones are just dreadful. And I just have this horrible habit of just doing accents at random times, especially when I'm nervous or uncomfortable. And it's just, I'm sure, extremely irritating, especially for people who actually have that accent. But, Lord, I have to stop. That should be one of my New Year's resolutions, is to stop doing that. This is in no particular order, but if it was, then I would put It by Stephen King first. I uploaded a video about this in October, actually I believe on Halloween, and this book genuinely just resonated so intensely with me. Stephen King, I know that he was high as shit on coke when he was writing this, but he just created such a real world for me, and it was so reflective of what it's like to grow up in a small town and to have a childhood that you have to recover from. That sounds terribly dramatic, but he just captured it so well, and I relate to Eddie so much. I just genuinely, the feeling of having that group of friends, I had that experience, and he just did it so much justice, and he did a spectacular job. It is not for everyone, as most of Stephen King's works are not for everyone. The movie's pretty good. I have not seen the second one yet. I need to get on that, but I highly recommend this if you're at all into horror, or if you can stand horror and you're into a I don't even know how to describe it. Honestly, it's like a Bildungsroman. I never know how to say that. I'm an English lit major and I should know how to pronounce it. I also took French, but I can never say it. Is it Bildungsroman or is it Bildungsroman? Somebody please comment down below. But anyway, it truly is just the best of both worlds of horror and also a coming of age story, and also, as you'll see, I'll link this video down below, but also a queer narrative. Next, I loved Mad Miss Mimic by Sarah Henstra. Yeah. It was so Pride and Prejudice, that is my era of fiction, is 19th century Victorianist literature. That's my shit. And Mad Miss Mimic perfectly encapsulated that, and also discussed disability and romance. Spectacular. Highly recommend. Solitaire by Alice Oseman. No one is surprised. I genuinely think that if I was to have one book to describe who I was from 16 to 18, I would just give you this book and say, have at it. This isn't her best work from a narrative perspective. It's not the best structured. The writing is amazing considering she wrote it when she was 19, but it's not her best piece. But her writing it at that age really just hits you. It is so, and the love story is very sweet as well. And there's just, she's very good about representation. And just read Solitaire by Alice Oseman and everything else that Alice Oseman has ever written. Next, The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This is I've heard it described as a grown-up Hogwarts / Narnia, and I would absolutely agree with that. If you enjoy fantasy, and if you like literary analysis, this unpacks all of those tropes that happen in your fantasy novel. The idea of being coming of age in a fantasy perspective in a world where reality and magic are like mashed together, go for it. Excellent. Just read it. Honestly, some of it's like a little, there's a lot of sex. I'm just gonna say it. There's a lot of sex. But, you know, do what I did and just push past it. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I also have The Goldfinch waiting to be read, but this is just so good. This introduced me to the entire like subgenre of dark academia, which I love. I'm just so into academia, especially because like being in that atmosphere right now, it really hits you. And Donna Tartt really just, this cast of characters is so real. You feel like they're your next door neighbors. Like you feel like you were really watching this through your window. It's so good. I can't imagine that anyone hasn't read it yet, but if you haven't, hit her up. And Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I loved this book. Honestly, I'm really fascinated by the power dynamics in this book. I'm like holding this and realizing it's so big. It's like so much bigger than my face. I love the power dynamics that Margaret Rogerson consistently like analyzes, the idea between like, especially in this book, the idea of the relationship between human and fae. It really reminded me of The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, so if you liked that book, this is very much similar. Also, her writing style I really enjoy, and I'm going to be reading Sorcery of Thorns, or whatever the next book is. Not the next book, but her other book. That's going to be on my TBR for 2020. So, it's real good. I recommend. This book is so cute. Hayden gave my Sally Thorne. If you just need like a cute little summer read, if you're just, you know, you're stressed at work, you're feeling like, wow, I just need some fluffy romance in my life. I need some sexual tension. I'm not into that, and she did this so well that I was like, yes, I want this 1,000 times more. But oh God, it takes place in a publishing company, and that alone was enough to sell me. But the relationship between these two characters is just so like, honestly, this is like fanfic-y. It's awesome, and I love, you all know I love fanfic. I think that fanfic is its own like genre of narrative, and the way that it takes tropes and just subverts them, but also like caters to your exact desire. This does that. It is everything that you've ever wanted in like a romance novel. It's so good. I feel like I'm not describing it properly, but like the tension between these two characters, and also the fact that like you hate him, but you also want him to be like your boyfriend. And I just love that about him. And my brother just dropped something. It sounded catastrophic. I hope he's okay. Just the interactions between these two characters is just so, I read this in one sitting. I really did. I just, one go, straight through. And I truly recommend it to anyone who's having a rough time and just wants something to sit with and enjoy. It doesn't take a lot of mind power. It's just a fun read, you know? I finally got around to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo this year, which means that I discovered the wonderful world of Taylor Jenkins Reid. I loved, like, Taylor Jenkins Reid is just such a beautiful prose writer, genuinely. I also read Daisy Jones and the Six, and both of them are so realistic that, like, you read it and you're like, I know this is fiction, but also, like, this feels so real that I feel like this Evelyn Hugo did exist. I actually recommended Daisy Jones and the Six to my mom, and she read it, and she literally like was Googling the band while she was reading, because she literally thought it was real. That's how real and like visceral an atmosphere that Taylor Jenkins Reid is capable of creating. This is so good. It has so much diversity. It has a queer narrative in it that is just unabashedly there. It is just so good. And it really has like, it's just very sweet. And then also there's times where it's so heart-wrenching. And she genuinely just shows the plight of, especially of like a person of color in Hollywood, a woman in Hollywood in this time. And it just is so good. I'm sure you've all read it because I'm so behind on this, but 5 out of 5 stars. Next is The Wilder Girls by Rory Power. Wilder Girls is just the perfect combination of like gothic like horror with like gross shit, but also like so clearly about like sapphic relationships that I just loved it. There's some scenes in there I was like, I might vomit. Like I might actually like throw up right now. But other than those, you know, it has everything, you know. It has the boarding school, it has the female-female relationship, it has the apocalypse, it has like body horror. So good. So good. Finally, also to no one's surprise, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't even know what to say about this book. I really don't. Like, it just is so good. It is just such a beautiful love story. Oh god. This isn't a spoiler, I don't think. I mean, it's not a narrative spoiler. So there's this thing that Casey McQuiston does where she like includes like historical letters from queer relationships, and that alone just sent me. As someone who identifies as queer, I just really, this book made me proud to be gay. Like, it really did. I'm like getting emotional. It's that good. It really is. I'm sure that you've all read it, but if you haven't, please pick it up. It's just so sweet. And it has the politics. It has that subversive, like, what if fucking Trump wad hadn't won and we were living in a time with a woman president? It has that, which is also heart-wrenching, but also like to see that world is a comfort always. So I have to stop talking about it. I will literally cry. I'm gonna go, you know. I'm sure that a lot of these books have already been read by you guys, but if you haven't, I recommend every single one of them. Also, I'm putting together my TBR for 2020, so please leave anything that you highly recommend, anything that you think I haven't read. Even if it seems like the most obvious book, I probably haven't read it. I'm so like weird about what I read that it's just, there's no guarantee on what has come across my bookshelf and what hasn't. But please recommend things down below for me to read. And like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow because it's Vidmas, so you'll probably see a video tomorrow. I don't know.